All right, guys, how's everyone doing? I'm trying something different today. I'm using YouTube Live here to answer some of your questions. I asked you guys on Twitter what you guys wanted me to talk about. Usually in my videos, whether the free videos on Bulls on Wall Street, in the blog, or the Trade Alert service, I talk about what I'm looking at, what I want to. But here, we're going to answer your questions here. So let's get it started. It's been a crazy time here the past few days here with the election. I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions. I haven't looked at them yet. So I'm basically just going to go through my notifications here and see what you guys have asked. And hopefully I can answer all of them. So let's get started here. Number one from Karma Trader. What do you do when you are not trading? Looks like he's not asking my outside interests, but related to trading. What am I doing in terms of drills, exercises, reviews, charting? How do you improve your edge outside market hours? You know, it's different for me because I've been through a lot of learning that a lot of you guys are probably doing now. You know, I'm so experienced. There's a lot of this drills and exercises I don't need to do. The time I spend is reviewing my own trades and then reviewing where the edges are in my trades. You know, something that I might not have seen, whether it's my intraday or my swing trading. Really digging in, and over years I've been peeling away and peeling away. You know, what I don't need and what doesn't work, and it's through these reviews that I'm constantly doing, and what works, of course. So that's what I'm doing now. Early on, what I did was I poured over chart after chart. And that's what a lot of you guys should be doing, even experienced traders. And I still do this. So what I'll do is a really simple thing here. I'll pull up here something like the Russell 1000 or the S&P 500. So let's just pull up the S&P 500 here. And I'll just get on the dailies, you know, if we're looking at swing here. And I'll just go through chart after chart. These are all stocks that make up the S&P 500. And I'll just flip through these and just look for setups. You know, I'll go through all these and wonder, hey, this is a good setup here. Why did I not trade it? How could I have traded it? You know, okay, there was a breakout here, a breakout pullback, and then it ran. What could I have done here? Here's a 50-day moving average. I see that it violated that moving average and then remounted. Maybe there was a trade there. So go through all of these. And the great thing about doing this is we get locked into these technical patterns that have been spit out to us that we're supposed to know. And you're going to find by doing this, there's a lot there that is not in any book. And you guys have heard me say this all the time. You know, most trading books are garbage. You're going to get a lot more out of doing something like this than you will from reading a book. So if you're going to invest 2 or 3 hours in reading a book, ditch the book and go through chart after chart after chart. One, for your muscle memory, you're going to see these patterns, and two, to see things that you see and that other people might not see. I've come up with setups that I trade that I know very few people trade by doing this. So a really good tool here in terms of a drill exercise you can do. All right. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Ipan Ema LeBlanc. Okay, so entries and exits if possible. Thanks. That's pretty open-ended. Let's talk about exits right now. I don't know what the actual question is here, but let's talk about exits because that is the toughest part of trading. I was actually talking to a friend today, and we were going over SGen. This wasn't a fantastic intraday trade, so I'll bring up this intraday, but let's pretend, we can even pretend it's not an intraday trade. This could very well be you know, if this was a swing trade and these are, instead of minutes, these are daily candles. You know, we had this parabolic short here. It's the exact same setup intraday as it is swing. So let's just look at it as a swing setup. Ran here. I took the short off of this kind of tail here and failure, and then we got the continuation. I was in right around 74, and I was real happy with the trade. You know, it went from 74. My final exit, I took some partials at about 70.50. Obviously, this thing went down to 66. So, you know, what was one of the best trades I've had, you know, a 4-point gain in a matter of minutes here, turned out to be, you know, I could have made double on this. I think I made about 1,500 bucks. I could have made 3,000 on this trade if I would have partialed a little better, worked on my exit strategy a little more. So I think that is the hardest part of trading, is the exit strategy. And you can see someone like me who's got 20 years of experience. I'm still working at my exit strategy. The entries are pretty easy once you get it down. You're always tweaking these exit strategies. If I was going to give one tip on exit strategies, it's partial out. Once you hit your 2-to-1 or 1.5-to-1, whatever it is you want, start partialing. And you'll find oftentimes that by partialing, you'll get some of the biggest wins that you have in a year by partialing, whether it's swing or intraday trade. This would have been, again, double the win if I had partialed out a little better. Okay, let's see here. Filter setups for up trading stocks. This is John. Filtering stocks for up trading stocks, how to narrow the field, like show stocks above their 20-day moving average. You guys know that follow me closely. I'm not big on these really tight scans. I'm not scanning for stocks above the 20-day moving average. I'm using a sector analysis. So in terms of filtering, I'm doing a sector analysis. So, I'll pull up here the industry indexes. I'll go in and sort by 30, 90 days, 5 days, whatever it is that I'm looking at, and find the best sectors, find the best stocks. That's how I'm filtering. So that is one way to do it. Then I do oversold stocks, overbought stocks, and breakouts. And that's basically, there's some other stuff I do, but that's basically the bulk of it. And then I don't need to really be filtering too much from that. I'm just, I've got a list of maybe, 100 to 300 stocks. And you can go through these very quickly. It takes you about 15 minutes a day to go through all those stocks that you have worked at building. You've filtered or scanned, not even scanned, you've organically kind of processed these stocks here, and you're finding the best setup. So I don't do much of what I think you're talking about here, scanning or filtering something like this. Profit taking, when to take a small loss, be patient, go for the home run. Okay, we talked a little about profit taking in terms of exit strategy. When to take the small loss, you basically have that laid out before you take the trade. So, your loss is going to be where your stop is. So that is not profit taking. But in terms of the actual profit, a lot of it depends on the market. So think about if you're in a range-bound market, and we've made adjustments throughout the year here in how we've taken profits. When we've been range-bound, we've been very quick to take profits. So a setup where I normally might go for a big gain, because I know the market is range-bound or that sector is not moving, I'll go for the smaller profit. Whereas if we're in a go-go market, if you're trading, like for instance, I'll give you an example today, LABU. Now, I feel like LABU has a catalyst because Trump won, and they're not, the drug companies are not worried about, what Hillary wanted to do. So they've got the catalyst. This thing could really run. So, entry was in here. We got the big pop today. Maybe if it was range bound or I wasn't sure, I would have taken profits here, but I didn't. I'm going for the bigger win here based on the catalyst that I see. And even if it pulls back some, I'm going to stick with it. So there's many different factors: the market, the news, the stock itself, how the stock has been moving. There's so many factors that go into how you're going to decide this. And if you're questioning it, again, do the partials and don't have to think about it. Just let it play out with your partial profit taking. Okay, stochastics as an indicator. As you develop, you're not going to need that many indicators. The way I use stochastics is as a guide for overbought and oversold conditions. It's not the be-all end-all. I use my eyes. I look at the price action. I use my experience in looking at the price action. But I use the stochastics as a guide, and the more extreme they get, the more meaningful it is. So if you say, you think 20 or 30 on the stochastic is an oversold level, I'm really going to pay attention if it's at 5 or 10. And once it starts to get really extreme. All right, here, new swing trading course, working on that. Quarter results tech, NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA, fantastic. And I'm on cloud 9 because I've been holding NVIDIA a long time in my longer term position trading account. It's one of my VR plays, virtual reality. So hopefully, I don't think NVIDIA has the power to turn around tech completely, or if at all. And there is definite money flow for reasons outside of what's going on in these companies with the Trump win. So I don't think NVIDIA can stop the flow. There's only so much money to go around. And NVIDIA can't stop the money flowing into biotech for obvious reasons, or into Russia for obvious reasons, or steel or copper. But maybe it has a little bit of impact if a couple of more companies do what NVIDIA did. VWAP on LABU and LABD. I'm not sure what your question is there. For intraday trading, I'm assuming is what you're talking about. I've been trading, the past couple of days. I've been intraday trading along with my swing. I've been intraday trading LABU biotech like crazy, but nothing based on the VWAP. I had a short here based on very similar to what we just talked about in SGen, which is also biotech, and then I went long off the bounce off the previous close here. So really not related to the VWAP. What I use the VWAP mostly for is targets. So off the bounce here, that's my first target. And obviously it hit that there. Okay, accepting risk. The balance between letting things play out and getting out when you need to. That's not only risk what you're talking about here. I think part of it is micromanaging positions, or how you manage your positions. You lay out your risk plan going in. I'm only going to risk 0.5%, 1%, 1.5, 2% of my account, whatever it is. With your day trading, it's going to be smaller, maybe 0.2 or 0.3. And you're not going to adjust that too much. Set it. You guys hear me say this all the time. Set it and forget it. You've got the plan, let it play out. If something significant happens, then you can adjust. One of my worst trades of the year was Brazil, where there was a gap down. I let my stop slide a little bit, and the next day I got another gap down. So, when you make these kind of decisions, sometimes they go against you. So try not to adjust too much. Lay out that plan and stick to it. Okay, GA Tech Trader, your UVXY intraday trade from Friday. Gosh, I've made so many trades, not only in all the, I've made a ton of trades here. Specifically with UVXY, I made a ton of trades. So honestly, I can't remember what I did Friday. I'm assuming it had some. Friday was that the FBI news? Okay, I don't remember the specific trade, but this probably the market was reacting to Hillary's FBI investigation at the time, and obviously there was fear with UVXY. So that would have been the kind of catalyst for entering UVXY. How do you scan for stocks on your focus list? From Ganesh. We just talked about that. We touched on it. A lot of it is my sector analysis. In the Bulls on Wall Street Bootcamp, I do a lesson. I guessed for 2 or 3 lessons. And one of them I always talk about is the sector analysis. I always also talk about it. We really focus on, when I work one-on-one mentoring with people, we spend a lot of time on the sector analysis and building those watch lists. So that's the way I'm finding my stocks, is through the sector analysis. Okay, and finally, we had a question on risk management, which I think I've already answered in the other question. So great questions, guys. I'll see how this worked out here, and maybe I'll do a few more of these before going. Let me see if there were any questions. Let me see one other. Thanks for taking the time. Go over on my UQ. Okay, so it looks like there's a question on YouTube, and I don't know how to look that up. I'm new to this. So if you have a question, you post it on YouTube, I'll answer it in the comments. And if you guys have any more questions, just ask me them in the comments on YouTube. And definitely like the video so I know you want more of these within YouTube and on Twitter, and then that'll let me know. And then definitely subscribe to the YouTube page. That way, anytime I put out one of these videos, you get a notification that I've put a video out. All right, guys, this was fun. I will talk to you guys later.